What's going on, everyone? Non-TCG here. And for those of you viewers who are new, I've been doing a segment every Sunday night. It's called This Week in Distro, just walking through what we're seeing, what's available in distribution, kind of in general, really focusing on Magic the Gathering and Pokemon. So this is the Magazine Exchange website, weekly specials. This is free. There's call it four main distributors and two little ancillaries. So the main are Southern Hobby, PhD or Peach State, Alliance, and then GTS. And then the two smaller are Mad Al and Magazine Exchange. So generally stores have one or two that they focus on, but each tends to carry products a little bit differently, have a little bit of a different go-to-market strategy, and the pricing varies a little bit. Some are flexible with volume, and some are not. So this is a great resource, and this updates every Friday late. I believe they're Pacific time, so called 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Things get updated here. And since this is for the public, this gives us a good idea with one of the distributors where what's going on. And part of the premise with the concept behind Anon is if I say something that somebody isn't happy with, there's nobody to go after. But Pokémon had a situation where I guess he was talking about allocations and stuff and had some folks come after him. So this is precisely to avoid that, because that's pretty fucked up. And, he certainly doesn't deserve that. So anyway, going through here, Innistrad Remastered, no allocations yet. GTS is generally the first with allocations. They don't close their order window till the end of next week. So, I have no idea what to think about this. The reprints are mid at best, but then, Foundations was the same way. Those boxes are going crazy. You have the return of serialized cards in the collector boxes. We're going relatively heavy into collector boxes just because, and I've mentioned this before, I'm a little bit of a contrarian. The fact that they're pulling from a bunch of crap historic sets, and everybody has the expectations that this is going to be Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt all over again. I think they have to do something special and make it something that somebody wants. So, we're rolling the dice a little bit on this. Plus, serialized cards should help value. But we'll see. I have no idea if we're going to get everything we asked for. If we're going to get 10%, distribution tends to say that the demand's been higher than Foundations. But I also think with Foundations, Wizards held a lot of product back just because there wasn't demand, and they have 5 years to leak it out. So I think they finally calibrated how much they sent out to market to support prices, especially on collectors. And play boosters, for some unknown reason, have been all sitting around 135 across the board. Obviously, it'll be a little bit higher here because it's a 1.5x premium set. So that's it for Innistrad. Bloomburrow Commander decks, Ixalan Commander decks, Lord of the Rings Commander decks across the board. I think Duskborn also were being reprinted. We had talked in the Discord. Again, join the Discord. Ton of information there. I actually refreshed the link, so it works this time. So shame on me for being an idiot. Right now, these Bloomburrow decks are selling for $310. So you can see the price at Distro coming in January. Would expect these prices to come down quite a bit, but there's a ton of opportunity to make a little bit of money in that one. By make a little bit of money, I mean offering that en masse to our Discord, at a discount to market price. Lord of the Rings, not much there. Foundations, everything but collectors still. Nothing to see there. What's interesting is looks like Kamigawa, Baldur's Gate, Kaldheim, they're just trying to move the product out as quickly as they can for space. Those are at the end of the product cycles. Here are all the rest of the play boosters. Feel free. You guys can see it's magazine-exchange.com/specials. You can look at this whenever you want. Nothing I really care about here. OTJ still has collectors everywhere. That's not moving anytime soon. Commander Master still has product out the ass. MH3 Fallout Commander deck cases are still available here, but I think those are kind of crappy. So moving to Pokemon. And by the way, feel free to comment. Let me know what you think about Innistrad, because I still don't know what to think about it. I'm guessing we'll get 100 collector boxes. We'll rip through the Discord. We'll sell them at a discount to market, and we'll break even or make a couple bucks. Juan Soto just signed with the Mets, 15 years. That's interesting if anybody cares about baseball. But anyway, back to kids games. So this is interesting. I've seen this from a couple distributors. Pokemon Silver, Tempest, Check Lane, Blister Case. I think one of the others had the 2-pack Dollar Store, Dollar General, one of the dollar businesses for sale also. But honestly, they're just such a pain in the ass to open. And there's really no value other than just a headache. And at $3, $3.25 a pack, it's probably worth something at some point. But there's so many loose packs of all this shit. It's just it's not worth the headache. There's no premium. So Terapagos. What's interesting, this has really started to move a little bit on TCG Player. I think it's over $100 now. 18 packs of all the sets that are kind of going nuts right now. And the promos are decent. They're carrying probably $25 of value across the 3 of them. And then 18 packs at $3 a pack. I mean, there's not a whole lot of downside. And I've seen them selling for $85, $90 on private sites, but it's interesting. Ogre Pond, don't really care about it. You can get some Surging Sparks. Here's the meat of the deal here. So these guys have increased their prices again. So Pokemon Southern sold out. Their MO is to kind of dump things as quickly as they can and move on. GTS sold out. PhD has a handful of boxes, like 2 or 3, but they're limiting to 6 per store per week. So there's no way to get volume. That brings us to Magazine Exchange. And this is a group. I personally like them because, it's like in sports, the best ability is availability. They always have product. They hold some product back. I know it rubs some people the wrong way, but to each their own. So SV Base, $98. Paldea Evolved, $125. Good deals. Obsidian Flames, $113. Paradox. They still have some at $100. They'll be getting a call from me probably late this week. Stellar Crown at $110. Stellar Crown was at $92 for the longest time. Same with Paradox. Obsidian Flames has been above $100 for a while. And Paldea Evolved, they didn't have until this recent amount of product. But Paradox Rift, and I've mentioned this in a couple of videos. Again, my theory is that the reason why Paradox Rift is sold out on Pokemon Center is they took all that product and they pushed it out to distribution going into the holidays because it was an easy way to get product into the hands of stores. So that being said, no Surging Sparks. They had a deal for a couple weeks where you get 1 box of Surging Sparks at call it $30, $40 discount to market, $140 to $160 depending on the week. But you had to take one of the giant Charizard statue boxes. I think it was like $170 or $180 combined. Not a bad deal, but the Charizard statues just take up so much space. It's kind of shitty. But anyway, those are all gone now. So moving on, these guys have not done anything with Prismatic. They have an internal allocation policy. My guess is there's not going to have any open orders, but that's a different nuance of the space. Shrouded Fable, have had a lot of people talk about this, especially in the Discord. So Shrouded Fable is the last Pokemon Center ETB available on Pokemon Center. And what's interesting is the quantity for sale is still over 20,000. At some point, this is going to be a super interesting product. I don't think the dump has come yet. Most distros have the ETBs at 30. Booster bundle $16.95, which is kind of the base of where they've always been. If I could get the bundles at $12, or if I could get the ETBs at 22, 23, which is where a lot of the SV base ones were, I would probably buy a bunch. The problem is it's going to be dead money for a while. There's so much of this stuff out there. It's going to be one of those things where it's unpopular until it's not. But again, there's so much product that has to get eaten up. If nobody's ripping it, nobody's buying it, nobody's hoarding it. This will be a good conversation to have in November of 2025, I think at this point. But again, with Pokemon Center ETBs, once it ticks down under 20,000, then it's worth watching. Once it ticks under 10,000, And I can't imagine it's going to sell that much that quickly. Then it'll be time. I mean, I already have call it 20 cases of Pokemon Center ETBs because I was flying blind for the longest time, which I'm not now. So thank you, everybody. But it's interesting at some point in the future, just not today. Bunch of tins. Don't really care about any of this stuff. Good mixes for kids. Sleeve boosters. Twilight Masquerade. Quick item on Twilight. It's gone from all distribution. It's down to 4,800 boxes. I think my last video I said 4,950 on Pokemon Center. So there's 4,800 left. It looks like it's selling about 100 boxes a day. Now, granted, these were a couple weekend days, so it may be slower during the week. I quite honestly haven't paid that much attention. But I think at some point, this is the next to go from Pokemon Center, which means it's going to run up to $200. So, I think it's 154 bucks on TCG Player, 155. It's, if you want it, I'd buy it now. Who knows when the restock's coming, if one's coming. I'm sure one's coming. I shouldn't say if one's coming. But the sleeve boosters, always a good alternative if you want to rip. A little bit of a pain in the ass with the outer casing, but whatever. Paradox, 381, Temporal, 381. These are 371 generally. So these have come up to $10. Same with Obsidian. And Stellar Crown. And then you have, the booster bundles, 1625. 1595 for Obsidian, which is interesting. Temporal doesn't have any; they're sold out. But they do have the ETBs, so it's an interesting mix. Let's see, and then still build and battle box. Not something I've gotten into much. I'm not a big fan of breaking product down and having dead space. That's why a lot of the big displays and, the Blooming Waters item coming out. And I want to touch on that real quick. It's big, it's display, it's bulky. It's not made for online stores or online shippers or anything. So it's tough. Distro price for that's $32, I think. And MSRP is like $59.99. But till, you pay fees and, $10 to ship it, and you're going to have a million people who don't understand the process that bitch and moan if a little corner gets nicked because you have Ace Ventura delivering half the packages during the holidays. It's a giant fucking pain in the ass. And, you could break them down, but at that point, you're destroying any value at any point in the future. So it's a tricky product, but we did get our first allocation on that. So that doesn't come out until the 17th. No, I think it's the first or second week of January. So we expect to get some more allocation. It's going to be allocated about the same as Prismatic Evolution. As you can imagine, it's 151, so everybody wants it. So, it'll be interesting. It's another product that we'll probably offer in the Discord, but we'll probably offer it with a minimum quantity of 2 or 3, just so we don't get our face absolutely ripped off by shipping. So anyway, that's about it in the Pokemon world. Probably another 3 or 4 weeks, we should have some reveals on the team up set, which is going to be the March set, which is going to be super interesting. And I think, as I mentioned, if you think about the lead time in supply and demand in any TCG, it's about a 9-month lag. So Stellar Crown had, light demand, but a little bit heavier than Twilight. Twilight was completely dead until it wasn't, until everybody loved it. Surging Sparks was printed when Twilight was sort of kind of dead. My guess is the team up, the first set in 2025, is going to have a similar print run to Surging Sparks, and then the Team Rocket set, which I'm guessing is going to be the May normal set, because I'm guessing the mid-year specialty set, which would have been the Paldean Fates last year or in 2024, is going to be the 156 set. I think I had that right, but we'll see. We'll see. But I think the Team Rocket set will actually have an opportunity. They'll have an opportunity to increase a print run. So I'm not worried about overprinting or any of that stuff for now. But we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, guys, that is This Week in Distro. It went a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. But join the Discord. You get information like this all the time. You get it sooner than the videos. And I think this week I want to do a video. I know Rudy just put out a video on how this isn't a bubble, but just talk about general macroeconomic trends and and what's going on here, just driving the supply and demand. So anyway, guys, enjoy your Sunday, and we'll talk later.